Hello students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the EBSEX online support program. I am lecturer Wasim and I'll teach you class 8 physics. So we are in unit 3, which is dynamics, and in this lecture we will discuss the tension and acceleration and the strain, right? So we will discuss in detail what is the tension and which type of string will be used and what is the acceleration in the strain. So moving forward, what is the learning outcomes? What are expected from the students? So the students, at the end of the lecture, the students will be able to calculate. They will be able to calculate and understand what is the tension in the string and what is the acceleration in the string, or you can say what is the acceleration attached to the body. What is the acceleration of attached body to the string, and remember, the string will be passed over the frictionless pulley. Remember, the pulley is assumed to be frictionless, right? And we will use second law of motion. We have already discussed that what is the second law of motion. Before starting our lecture, we have to revise the previous lecture. So just a random question I want to ask. What is the Newton's first law of motion? The student must have a clear idea about the definition, or you can say the statement of the Newton's first law of motion, and they should understand the real life examples which already discussed in Newton's first law of motion. Similarly, what is the Newton's second law of motion? The statement and the mathematical form of the second law of motion. And what is Newton's third law of motion? Similarly, a student must have a clear idea and they have clearly differentiate between mass and weight. So moving forward to the lecture, we will discuss tension and acceleration in string. So for this, consider the diagram figure. Over here, a block is attached to the stand using the string. This is the string and this is the block. So the block is attached to the stand using this string, right? Now the weight of the block is acting downward, so it means the block is applying force on this string, or you can say on the stand. Since both are connected, so the block is applying the force on the stand, or you can say the string. And what will be that force? That will be equal to the weight of the block, right? And what is the direction? The direction is downward. So according to Newton's third law, the stand will also apply a force on the block, but since it is in the weight is acting downward, or you can say the action of the block is downward, so the reaction will be upward. So it means this stand will apply force in the upward direction, right? Now how will the stand apply the force? Because there is no direct connection between the block and the stand. The block is attached to the stand using this string. So it means the block is applying the force equal to the weight of the block on the string, and the string in return apply this force on the stand, right? First the block is applying force on the string and the string is again applying that much force on the stand. Now, since there is no reaction in the string, the reaction is actually applied or you can say performed using the stand, right? So the reaction will be in the opposite direction, right? The reaction, since the weight is downward, so the reaction will be upward. Now the reaction is also transferred using this string. The reaction of this stand is transferred using this string, right? Now this transfer of force, either it is action or it is reaction, in the string is actually represented with a T, and this is called tension in the string. So it means actually the tension in the string is the force which is transferred using the string from one body to another body. Actually here the force which is W, it is transferred from the block to the stand, and similarly the reaction force which is transferred from the stand to the block is also performed using the string, right? So this were some definition, or you can some explanation about the string and acceleration. String, acceleration and tension. So tension is discussed. String is also this is a string. You may remember, you may know the string, but I think you didn't know what is tension. Over here, just go through the slides. Consider block supporting by a string. This is block and this is supported by string. It is attached to the stand. The weight of the block is W. This is W. The block pulls the string downward. We have already discussed that the block will pull the string downward by its weight. It causes the tension in the string. Since the block is applying force on the string, so the force, that force in the string is called tension in the string, right? And the tension in the string will acting upward, because if you consider just this block and this string, so the block is applying force on the string which is acting downward. So in reaction, the string will apply an equal force on the block which will be upward, right? The block is at rest. Now if you are talking about the magnitude, so since the block is at rest, so it means the weight and the tension both will be equal, right? The block is at rest, therefore the weight of the block is acting downward must be balanced by the upward tension in the string. Thus the tension in the string must be equal and opposite to the weight of the block. So we have discussed the tension and acceleration in a string, but we discussed tension, we discussed the string, but we didn't discuss the acceleration. We discussed that the bodies are at rest. So now we consider the acceleration in the string also, or you can say the acceleration of the body attached to the string. This is actually, we are studying the acceleration of the body, not the string. We are not interested in the tension or in the acceleration in the string. We are interested to calculate, to understand the acceleration attached to the you can say acceleration of the body attached to the string. So for this vertical motion of two bodies attached to the end of the string, that passes over the frictionless pulley. Remember, the pulley must be frictionless, and we assume that there is no friction in the pulley. So once again, friction is actually the resistance offered by the pulley. Over here we are talking about the pulley, so the resistance offered by the pulley to the motion of the string, right? So for this we consider two bodies, A and B, having mass m1 and m2, and these are attached to the string, and the string is passing over the pulley, right? Over here we consider that the mass of the block A or body A is greater than the mass of block B. Now it is obvious that if the mass of A is greater than the mass of B, so there must be acceleration, and this will move downward. Using this acceleration, it will move downward, and with the same acceleration block B will move upward, right? So there is acceleration, right? So we consider that the mass m1 is greater than m2. The bodies are attached to the opposite end of the inextensible string. I also mentioned in the start of the lecture that the string must be, that we will discuss that which type of string we are talking about. Inextensible. What is meant by inextensible? Inextensible means that there is no extension. If you apply the force, so the length of the string will remain same. If you apply force in this direction and the same force in this direction, so the length will remain same, it will not change, right? So if the length of the string is not changing, we call it to be inextensible. And you can take an example of rope. But if you are talking about the rubber, so rubber is extensible, right? So we are not talking about, we will not assume that the string is actually made up of rubber. It may be of you can say steel or some different things, right? So the string is inextensible, remember it. The string passes over the frictionless pulley. This is another assumption. These are actually, we are talking about the assumptions. These may be, in real life there may be some extension in the string, but we are assuming that there is no extension in the string, and in real life there is no frictionless system. There is no frictionless system, right? If there were frictionless, so what is the indication of frictionless pulley? The indication of frictionless pulley is that once you turn this pulley, if you remove this bodies, and if you give a turn to the pulley, it will continue to turn according to the Newton's first law, but it will not continue its rotation. After some time it will stop. Why? Because there is friction, there is resistance to the motion, right? So in real life there is no such type of pulley to which if we give some turn and it will continue its rotation. There is no such type of pulley. So it means in real life there is friction, there will be friction in the system, but over here we ignore that. We assume that the friction is negligible, or you can say the friction is zero. We can reduce the friction, but we cannot fully eliminate the friction from the system. Right. Second, the body A being heavier, so it will start a motion downward, right? We have already discussed. The acceleration, we will denote the acceleration using A, and the same acceleration. Why it will be same? Because the two bodies are attached to each other. So if two bodies are attached to each other, either it is linear motion or rotatory motion, if two bodies are attached to each other, so the acceleration will be same. If you find the acceleration for one body, it will be the same for the second body. But remember, if they are connected to each other, right? There is another explanation for frictionless, that if we assume that the pulley must be frictionless, so hence the tension will be same through the string, and we will denote that tension with a T, right? Now we want to calculate this acceleration because this is our main purpose, to find the acceleration and tension, and this is the purpose, this is the objective of this lecture, that the student will be able to find the tension, calculate the tension, that how much is the tension and how much is the acceleration. So now we want to calculate this acceleration and tension. So for this we want to derive the equation, derive the formula to calculate the tension and acceleration. So the same body A, the same figure, but I isolate this body A, and we will apply the second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion. So over here, acceleration is moving downward. It means that this weight is actually greater than this T. That is why the net force is in which direction? The net force is in downward direction. That is why the body A is moving downward. So for this, consider body A moves downward. So the weight is greater than the tension in the string. If the weight were equal to the tension, so what will happen? The body will be at rest. But this is not the situation. The body is not at rest. So it means the weight is greater than the tension. Right? Now, what will be the net force? The net force will be, since this is greater, so the net force on body A will be equal to mg, the greater force minus the smaller force. So this will be the net force acting on a body A. Now, according to Newton's second law, the net force acting on body A, we have already discussed what will be the magnitude, whatever the magnitude, but the net force is equal to ma. We have discussed and we have derived the equation that F is equal to ma. And now what is that F? Over here F is actually the net force. So the net force is actually m1g minus T. m1g is the weight. We have already discussed that the weight is actually equal to mg. So over here the mass is denoted with m1. So m1g is the weight minus T. Weight is greater than T. That is why the body is moving downward. So it is the net force. The net force is equal to m1a. m1 is the mass and a is the acceleration. Now if we consider the second body, so the second body, the acceleration is upward. So over here it means that if the body is moving upward, it means that the tension is greater than m2g. The tension is greater than the weight. That is why the body is moving upward, and the net force will be equal to T tension minus m2g. This tension, if we subtract this weight from this tension, so the net force will be this one, tension minus m2g. And again applying the second law of motion, this net force will be equal to the acceleration produced and multiply by the mass of the second body. Why we are not using a subscript for A1 and A2? What are the reason? Because both acceleration of both bodies are same. This is the acceleration of this body, and over here the acceleration is for this body. But why we are using the same symbol? This is m1, this is m2, so both are different symbols because the mass of the both bodies are different, but acceleration of both bodies we have discussed, and it will be there, it must be there whenever two bodies are connected. So the acceleration will be same for both bodies. Since the acceleration is same, that is why we use one symbol, because we cannot use different symbols for the same quantity, right? Now these are the equations of motion. These are actually the second law of motion for this type of situation. So we have discussed the second law of motion in simplest form, that F is equal to ma. Now over here, how to calculate net force? So over here, that net force are also given in different forms. Now if we add this equation and this equation, so we can write equation 3.6 m1g minus t is equal to m1a, and similarly we can write the equation 3.7 to be minus m2g. This is negative sign, so I write this first one minus m2g. This t is actually positive. If it were negative, so there will be negative sign. So there is no negative sign, it means over here there is plus, so I write minus m2g plus t is equal to m2a. Now add both. So it means that this t and this t will be cancelled because both are same and with negative sign, so these are cancelled out, and we will left with m1g. This is m1g minus m2g. This is m2g. The both t and t are cancelled, and m1a plus m2a is over here with equal sign, right? So taking common over here, g is common, g is same in both, and over here a is common, so we take common from both sides. Now if we divide both sides with m1 plus m2, if we divide this side, m1 plus m2, and we will also divide this side, because to maintain equality we have to divide both sides with the same quantity. So this m1 plus m2 and this m1 plus m2 will be cancelled, and over here there will be m1 plus m2, so we can write that a will be left as single because both these are cancelled, and over here g m1 minus m2 multiplied by g, it can be right over here and it can be written over here, depends on you, both are same, but it is multiplied with both m1 and m2. Over here it is also multiplied with both m1 and m2, so m1 minus m2 divided by m1 plus m2, because it is divided both sides. So it means that the acceleration is equal to m1 minus m2 multiplied by g divided by m1 plus m2. So this is the formula to calculate the acceleration of the bodies attached to the pulley using the string, right? Now a question arises that this acceleration is for body A or for body B. So we have discussed that both will have same acceleration. So if you want to calculate the acceleration for this, you will use this formula. If you want to calculate the acceleration for body B, so you will use the same formula. Now there is another requirement, there is another objective in of this lecture, that we have the student will also be able to calculate the tension. Now how will we find the tension? So for this, over here this is the acceleration, right? And if we use this equation, so over here this is also acceleration. So if we put these values over here, so this equation can be written as this one. m1g minus t is equal to m1, and a is replaced with this quantity, right? We write m1 minus m2 g divided by m1 plus m2 in place of this a acceleration, right? So it is clear. Now over here we can calculate the tension also, but we have to just rearrange the equation. So I can write this equation. What did I do? I actually shift this m1, this term, to this side, and this t is shifted to the right side. So when it is shifted to the right side, it will be positive, and since this total term is positive, so I shift it to the left side, right? So it will be like this. Now you can use this equation also, but it is very difficult to remember this equation. That is why I have to simplify this equation. So for this I take LCM. So LCM will be this one, m1 plus m2, right? So if you remember the LCM in numbers, so what will we do? What we do with LCM? LCM is actually multiplied with this is LCM, so I take this LCM. Now this LCM is multiplied with this, you can say with this quantity. The LCM, remember, is multiply m1 plus m2. This is multiplied with this term and also multiplied with this term, right? So I am trying to write m1 plus m2 over here, right? Now this m1 and m1 plus m2 and this m1 plus m2 will be cancelled, so this term will be left with the m1 minus m2 into g, right? m1 minus m2, and there is also single m1 over here. This is m1 is lefted in this equation, so this m1 is over here also, right? Now this term will be like m1 plus m2 into m1 mg. So I write this m1 and g first, and then m1 plus m2, right? Now over here we have m1 plus m2 and m1 plus m2, because I multiply m1 plus m2 to this term and m1 plus m2 to this term. Why I multiply this m1 plus m2 to both terms? Because I have LCM. So this is the way to find, or you can say to take the LCM, or you can say another term there, to add or subtract two terms with fraction, right? So this LCM m1 plus m2 and m1 plus m2 is cancelled, and sorry, over here there is m1, but I leave it over here, so I write with the pointer. So this is m1, right? So in this term we left with m1 g and to m1 minus m2, right? So m1 g into m1 minus m2, m1 g into m1 minus m2, right? Hope it will be clear. Now just simplifying. So I want to just remove the arrays. Now if we multiply all the terms, so m1 g m1 m1, so it will be g m1 m1. Similarly, this is multiplied with this, so G M1 M2 minus sign is itself M1 G M1, so G M1 M1, right? Minus and minus, so it will be plus, and G M1 M2 G M1 M2, right? Now G M1 M1 and G M1 M1, this is positive, this is negative, so it can be cancelled, right? So we are left with a GM1 M2 plus GM1 M2, so it means we can add GM1 M2 and GM1 M2, so it will be, we left with this. Now we can add this to GM1 M2 divided by M1 plus M2 is equal to T. We can also write it like this, right? So it means T is equal to G 2G M1 M2 divided by M1 plus M2. So this is the formula to calculate the tension in the string passing over the pulley, and which is used to move two bodies attached to the string, right? So this is the formula to calculate the tension, and this is the formula to calculate the acceleration. This is to find the tension in the string. It doesn't matter at which point you need to find the tension, because the string is a long wire shaped object, so at each and every point in the string the tension will be equal to this one, right? And this will be the acceleration of these attached to string. Since this is week 14, so there is a little homework that the student will solve related MCQs of unit 3, and they have to write the theoretical questions. These are the theoretical questions, 3.3 part 1 and part 2, and 3.4, 3.5 and 3.6. So there